Hey boys and girls, this is the Angry Photographer here with part 2, comparing the 135mm F2 DC Nikkor with the 135mm F2.8 AI Nikkor $1,300 lens versus a $120, $130 lens. I've got 4 test samples below. Click on the links and open them up or download them. They have been converted to JPEG, as I've told you before, because some people don't have the easy capacity for opening up the raw files from the Nikon, and so they have been converted from maximum uncompressed 14-bit resolution shot originally in the RAW on the D810 36.1 megapixel sensor, and converted into maximum JPEG images. Nothing has been changed on color contrast or anything like that. They've only been converted to JPEG so that everybody could download them very easily and take a look at them online without necessarily having to download them. Now, they were all shot in manual at 1/250th of a second with flash. They were all shot at either, depending on the test shot, f4 or f2.8. I've got 4 shots below to download. You will notice that AI lens, the older manual lenses, the AI lenses, whether it's a D7100 or a D810, typically there's 3/4 of a stop of flash and or exposure compensation that you would want to make. So you will notice, obviously, as you see here, that the AI lens is darker slightly, but I didn't want to adjust that and skew the results. I just wanted to keep everything same across the board. All tripod shot. The center of focus is on the dead center of the spiral shell here, and I just wanted to let you download the images and let you see that. Now, there is more magenta, not only in addition to the fact that the AI lens would need more exposure or flash compensation. There is a slight magenta hue, as is typical on the older manual lenses, but that's no big deal. Taking care of that in post is super fast, super easy. But I did want to give you a clue in that. Now, we didn't talk about the defocus control or the bokeh on the DC Nikkor. It is very subtle. Now, between the two, we talk about a 9-bladed aperture on the $1,300 135mm F2 DC Nikkor. It's a 9-bladed aperture versus 7-bladed aperture. We also got 7 elements on the DC Nikkor versus 5 on the 2.8, or 4 elements on the 3.5. But as you can see here, even though we are ignoring for almost a stop difference of compensation, actually by accommodating for that, this is our AI lens over here, and accommodating for slight exposure difference, the $130 AI lens is sharper. I've known this now for a long time. I've been meaning to make these videos, because everybody keeps asking about the 135mm DC Nikkor and how much they love it and great. It's like, well, what have you compared it to? This is what I said at the beginning of this series is the basis of comparison. It's like, well, you love the lens, and the lens is unquestionably a great lens, but, how about I compare it to a $130 135mm AI manual Nikkor? Oh, well, I never thought of that, let's see that video. So, like I said, actually making grounds for the difference in exposure between these two. I didn't want to change anything. I wanted to keep it all 1/250th and f4, and not allow for any exposure compensation. Make both of them absolutely identical. I want to keep everything same. So even accounting for that, the older AI lens is technically sharper. And you're thinking, well, that was just one lens. Maybe your DC Nikkor is an issue. It's like, no, that's not the case. And I did multiple test shots, okay? And as you can see here and here, you can't necessarily see it on this video, but when you download the shots or bring them up online, you'll see it. And remember, even allowing for the difference in exposure compensation, the older 135mm AI Nikkor is in fact sharper. Now there's only one slight error I made, and it's not really an error at all. On the shell shots, where it says f4 down here on the B lens, these are all f2.8. So all the shell shots are actually f2.8. I just forgot to change the aperture on the card there. So even on the A, this is also f2.8. So ignore that. So you will notice a difference in hue, and also a difference in roughly 3/4 of a stop. 3/4 of a stop, obviously taking care of that's not an issue. Changing out, removing the magenta, and doing a slight bit of color correction on the older AI lens, which is a different coating and a different glass. You know, compensating for that in post is extremely easy. There was no defocus control or a bokeh control, or focus control is what it technically is used on the DC Nikkor on this. It was shot as a prime without either front or rear focus being used. So, and as I've told you, it is subtle. You know, did I take a model out to the beach and you know, shoot with glistening water behind her so you could see the bokeh effects of the AI lens versus the DC Nikkor? No, I didn't. Okay. That difference, however, between the AI and the DC Nikkor is subtle. On this point, every pro will agree. It is subtle. It is present along with a 9-bladed aperture. It is there, but it is subtle. I cannot justify it for anybody, essentially. I can justify it for a very small few people that can write it off on their taxes, and are shooting weddings, or they have a studio, you know, and $1,300 to them, you know, that's just chump change. You know, you got a dozen lenses in your kit, you know, and the money's filtering in, then, you know, then it is justified in purchasing that lens. But it is not a superior lens. It is not as sharp as the AI 135mm 2.8 is. Likewise, additionally, you'll actually notice, even allowing for the exposure difference of 3/4 or a stop of difference between the two, you will notice that since the AI has 5 elements, whereas the DC Nikkor has 7 elements, and you should watch my video on why prime lenses are you know, are better than zooms. Neither one of these is a zoom, but glass is a killer. Glass is a circuit, okay? It is a dielectric or electrostatic, and how you think of it. It is a dielectric circuit. More glass equals more evil, okay? Equals processing. It's like, how many times are you going to process the hamburger meat before it ends up on the bun? Same thing here. So yes, the Anger photographer was right. Of course, I knew this all along. I've been waiting to get this video. I've got a string of videos to make, so this is the second part. Download the links below, and you can see these pictures and really blow them up yourself. Like I said, all I did was convert them from MAX uncompressed 14-bit RAW files into JPEG so everybody could see them. So don't bitch about me doing that, or don't bitch about the fact that I didn't use the DC control ring and shoot a model outside with, you know, the sunlight glistening behind her so you could see the bokeh difference between the lens, okay? It is subtle. Subtle. You can take me to the bank on that one. So, I'm here to save you money. Okay, we're talking about $1,300 versus $130. Alright? If you like this video, you can always drop me a buck or two, tell me to go screw myself, and I'm glad I finally made these videos, and now I've got some more videos to shoot off on some other things that you wanted me to do some stuff on. Got it?